Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Triple N Media. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and we are having a Triple N talk show. And my special guest is Sugarland Police Chief Doug Brinkley. And all our programs are live video streamed to YouTube, or video stream all our programs or video stream through YouTube and Google Plus. And we also have a social media page, Triple N Network. We would like you to visit our Facebook page and like it, where we bring you the latest buzz from around the world. And our YouTube channel, which is Nik Nikam, has more than 900 videos accenting our experience here in the United States. And we would like you to please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about building bridges between the police and the public, and today I have a special guest who is the chief of police here in Sugarland area, my hometown. It has been my hometown for 30 plus years. Chief Doug Brinkley, we are delighted to have you on Triple N Media.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Okay, let's start off with a little bit about your background.
My background, I actually grew up in Detroit, Michigan. I started police work back in 1989. I believe it's the 28th year in law enforcement. It's something I really enjoy doing. I love giving back and serving the public. It's a passion of mine, and this is probably how I end up my career, hopefully here in the city of Sugarland as police chief. So.
Oh, that's great. Give us a little overview of the Sugarland Police Department.
Well, Sugarland, of course, is about 50 years old. I believe the police department was enacted or created in 1962. So we've been around quite a bit. The roots or the foundation of the city of Sugarland is from a sugar factory as well.
Yeah.
But it is one of the most thriving cities in Fort Bend County and the state of Texas right now. Our role from the police department is hopefully to maintain the safety of our citizens and residents here in the city of Sugarland. Make it a great place to live, work, and play. And that's probably one of my main focuses as a police chief for the community.
That's right. You know, when I was doing Sugarland 101, which was a few years ago, we did get a tour of the police department and got to see all the different things that the police department does. And we will talk about some of those things. What do people need to know about the police department?
We have a very robust police department. We're a growing city. And I think that's probably one of the main challenges that we faced over the last 10 or 15 years. So growing with the community, growing as we become a destination environment, that's some of the challenges that we face to make sure that we maintain quality law enforcement officers, but also we meet the challenges of this generation.
So how many police officers does Sugarland have approximately?
Right now we have 151 sworn police officers for the city of Sugarland.
Yeah, that's a pretty good number.
It is.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching a Triple N Media talk show. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and my special guest is Chief Doug Brinkley. He is the Chief of Police from Sugarland area, and we are talking about building bridges between police and the public. Okay, under what circumstances can people use this 911? That's a frequently asked question.
What do they use it for? What should they use it for? You know, it seems, especially throughout the nation, people call 911 for just about everything.
Yeah.
But typically, if you need us, if you need the police department, call 911. It could be an emergency situation. You could have been assaulted. Maybe your home was broken into or someone damaged your property. That's basically what 911 is for.
Yeah.
Some people call because they're involved in an accident. They're injured. They need assistance. And that's the primary contact we have with people is through 911 calls.
Yeah, it's also for like medical emergencies?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Because a lot of people having chest pain, they don't know who to call.
No, in 911,
they can't call the hospitals.
That is correct. And 911 is the place you want to call if it's an emergency.
That's a good point.
We do have a newly created EMS service for the city of Sugarland, and I think they have a tremendous, a very successful response time right now. So 911 is where you want to call if you have a medical emergency as well.
That's good. I'm a cardiologist. That's why I thought maybe I plugged that in. Okay, let's talk about, we hear the terms sheriff, police officer, sergeant, highway patrol, lieutenant, first responder. What do all these terms mean for the public?
Well, for the public, there's a lot of different law enforcement agencies in the state of Texas. Now, we're at the local level, the city of Sugarland. I work for the city of Sugarland. But the county has their role as well as far as providing service for the county and also the unincorporated areas of the county. But then you have the state police, the rangers, that's on the state level, and then you have the federal level. Now, federal police agencies will be FBI, DEA, and immigration enforcement as well. So we all have our piece of the puzzle as far as law enforcement in the nation.
For most of us, like general public, I'm a doctor, so we are sort of oblivious as to what is on the other side, on the police department side. Let's talk about police car. What's inside a police car?
Wow. Today we have more technological equipment than we've ever had before. So you have the computer, you have a radar. We're strapped in this little compartment where there's a lot of electronics around us. But you think of it as this way. I would think of the police car. That's almost like our mobile office.
That's right. Yeah.
Because we try to keep the police officers on the road as much as they can. Because if you call, we want to be there and available. So we try to put everything they need in the police car, as far as writing reports, their radar. Their radio system as well, communications, to make sure they can receive the calls for service.
Yeah.
It's a mobile office is the best way I can describe that. Yes, sir.
So if people want to know more about the police department, do you all have like a tour or something for the general public?
We have a new and upcoming, actually we have a very new and robust Facebook page. That's one great place to start. I think social media is one of the biggest things. I know, we're going to talk about that. And of course, you have a YouTube channel, so I know you're very familiar with social media right now. But also the police department's website as well. That's a great place to start.
That's right, yeah.
It has a lot of information about different services that we provide as a city, but also as a police department.
So it's part of the city website.
It is.
That's right, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I am talking to Sugar Land Police Chief Doug Brinkley, and we are talking about the police department here in Sugar Land and building bridges between the police and the public. What is a SWAT team?
Well, the SWAT team is going to be a specialized skill.
I see.
That's when the worst of the worst happens, and we really need to send in a specialized set of teams to actually neutralize a threat. You think about it, if we had to do a search warrant, you want someone to be able to make that entry, to keep it safe for the police officers, but also the individual that we're going after as well.
Yeah.
We're actually a part of a combined SWAT team. So it'll be the city of Sugar Land, city of Stafford, and also Missouri City. Those three cities make up a combined regional team. It really helps out because we're a relatively smaller agency if you compare us to the city of Houston. So it really helps us out to work with our neighboring cities to create a SWAT team.
So is it like a specialized team from different members in the same police departments in the region?
Well, our SWAT team is just made up of Sugar Land, Missouri City, and also the city of Stafford.
Yeah,
so our members have to make up our SWAT team.
Okay, that's good. Another interesting thing is dispatch room. It's like a mystery. Maybe you can walk us through what's going on in the dispatch room and how do they handle all these calls?
Well, the dispatch is when you call 911.
Yes,
that's where your call goes. So those are a very high skilled, trained professionals, and they want to make sure that when you call, they can get the police department or police officer to you as quick as possible. So they'll ask you a lot of good questions. What's the emergency? What's your address? Where you're located? And actually, what's going on? What's happening?
Yeah.
So as you're talking or getting information, always tell citizens, don't get frustrated because they're going to ask you a lot of questions, but they're dispatching the officers at the very same time they're asking you questions. So as you're talking to them, they're getting help to you as quick as possible. Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and you're watching a Triple N Media, and my special guest today is Sugar Land Police Chief Doug Brinkley. We are talking about the Sugar Land Police Department and building bridges between police and the public. Okay, what are the most common reasons for which a police officer would stop a traffic person?
Well, any violation of a law. If you ran a red light, maybe you failed to signal a lane change, you're speeding. Probably speeding is probably going to be the number one reason why we would stop someone on a traffic stop.
There's a lot of questions about how we are supposed to behave and respond when a police officer is approaching the vehicle. Maybe you can explain to us so that people understand what they're supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do.
It's pretty simple. When we're stopping you, we're asking you to stop. Actually, we're demanding that you stop because normally it's a violation of the law.
So the
officer is want to be as safe as possible. They're normally going to ask you for your driver's license, the registration for your vehicle, but also your proof of financial responsibility, which is your insurance certificate.
Yeah.
So normally interactions go very well, very well. Officers are going to be, you may understand that officers probably get killed, probably hundreds of officers every year get killed on traffic stops. Yeah. So when they approach the vehicle, they don't know who was in there.
That's
Typically,
true.
they actually, for your identification and those proofs of insurance, give them the information and they'll explain exactly why they stopped you. And typically, it ends with a citation or they may give you a warning. We issue quite a few warnings in the city of Sugar Land as well.
Yeah.
So it doesn't always mean that you're going to get cited or cited for a violation.
So most people keep their stuff in the wallet or in the glove compartment.
Yes.
Should they tell the officer, okay, I need to reach to these places, or, because as you said, the police are also concerned about their safety.
Yes, they are. It's not mandatory, but within doubt, I'd always say, officer, I have my driver's license in my wallet. I'm going to grab it out of my wallet.
Yeah.
It sends a message that you're communicating to the officer, and he or she understands exactly what you're doing, so there's no mistake.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Under what circumstances police have to use the force with a person they are interacting with?
Well, we try to only use force when it's absolutely necessary. So one example of when we would use force is if there's a violation of law and I'm going to arrest you, and if you resist, then I use only the necessary force to enact that arrest.
I see.
So it may be I may have to put my hands on you to restrain you. If you had a weapon in your hands, then I may use my baton or I may use my spray, or we actually carry tasers as well. So it depends on where we're reacting to the amount of aggression that we have in the suspect.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Triple N Talk Show. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and my special guest is Doug Brinkley. He is the Chief of Police at the Sugar Land Police Department, and we are talking about building bridges between the police and the people living in the community. Okay, let's talk about the body cameras. What are your thoughts on body cameras? Then we'll go into the social media, which sort of plays the same role from a different angle.
Well, I'm a big proponent of body cameras.
Yeah.
Maybe almost 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, we actually implemented a body camera project. So all of our officers on patrol, all our patrol supervisors, and some of our patrol, or actually most of our patrol lieutenants, all have body cameras. Which means is if you get stopped by the police department, we have policies and practices in place that dictate that we will use or turn on our body cameras. Yeah. So most of the times when I do have a complaint about an officer, I can go back and actually pull the footage from the body cam, and it gives us more of an objective view of exactly what happened on that stop. I'm a good proponent of because it gives you a second set of eyes that we can go back and review that body camera. So we use it as a tool for training where we can go back and say, we can look at the amount of force used, and we can determine whether it was appropriate or we need to retrain one of our officers as well. And if I have a complaint, I can use it as a mechanism to check on the officer's conduct as well.
I see.
So there's a lot of great uses of technology.
So it's not like it's real time where somebody is observing or watching like that?
No, it's not real time. We have to go back and watch the recording and find out what happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching a Triple N Media. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and we are talking about Sugar Land Police Department, and my special guest is Doug Brinkley, and he is the police chief here. Okay, we are talking about the social media. Let's talk about, now with the Facebook giving opportunities for people to just click and then everything is on the world scene. So what is your thought on social media capturing all this, and do we see more violence on either side because of the social media, and how do we filter all that stuff that is coming across social media?
From our perspective, I think social media it could be used as a good tool. But I think some people, individuals, put too much stuff on Facebook or social media. That's not something that we monitor continuously unless there's a need to do so.
Yeah.
Social media has been used as an investigative tool before. Under certain circumstances, you may have to obtain a search warrant to get the information. If it's public record and is accessible to anybody, then we could view the page like anyone else.
I see. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. People put all kinds of stuff on social media. Yes. Okay, I'm going on vacation for a month. I'm going here, I'm going there. And what is your thought on people putting all these things, which is like inviting other people to be aware of what they are doing?
Yes. I think it really is a point of personal preference. Some people like to put a lot of information on social media, but you do have to be careful. If you're going to put your travel plans, it doesn't necessarily mean that if I put I'm in Mexico on vacation this weekend that no one's at my home. But you want to be careful about how much information that you share. Some people prefer not to put their children or photographs of their children, their phone number, email, contact information. You do want to be careful how much you do share on your social media page because criminals could use that as a means to do harm to you.
That is, so a lot of people can just become friends without even knowing, by just using fake IDs and things like that.
Yes. And we have had incidents where kids have actually harassed other children, school-age children using social media, especially Facebook as well. So that's something that parents want to monitor as well. If you have young children, I definitely would monitor my child's social media pages.
That is true. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Triple N Media. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and all our programs are video streamed through YouTube and also Google Plus. Today we are talking about the Sugar Land Police Department, and my special guest is Chief Doug Brinkley, and we are talking about the Department of Police here in Sugar Land, also building bridges between the police and the community. And like most of the time when we come across a police, either you're medically sick or in an adversarial position where you've been stopped for a traffic violation.
Yes.
How can we build a bridge between the police and the public in a more friendly environment, something like we are doing today?
You mentioned one aspect of it when we first started the program, Sugarland 101.
Yes.
We have a Citizens Police Academy class. Those are excellent opportunities for the public to interface with law enforcement. Our National Night Out is coming up in October of this year. We try to have as many police officers out and about in the city to try to get out with our neighbors and actually touch hands and actually communicate with one another. I think that's a wonderful opportunity. Homeowner associations, neighborhood watch programs. We run the whole gamut of community interaction programs to make sure that we can actually be interactive with our community.
Well, whenever you have, let us get the information and our social media page. And in media, we posting all our Sugarland activities so we can inform the people so they can come and, interact with the police officers in a totally different environment.
Yes, I think that would be a great opportunity.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Triple N Media. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and my special guest is Police Chief Doug Brinkley, and we are talking about building bridges between the police department and the public. Okay, let's talk about domestic violence.
Yes.
A victim of domestic violence, what should they be doing?
I think the number one thing you want to do if you're a victim of domestic violence is make sure you report the crime. Oftentimes, especially our young ladies, are fearful to report instances of domestic violence. That's the step number one. Make sure that you seek assistance and make sure that we can come and provide services. At the Sugarland Police Department, we do have a victims liaison, and she is specifically trained in making sure that we provide resources to those who are victims of domestic violence as well. There's financial assistance for emergency shelter. There's employment and financial assistance as well, but also they help you go through the court process and what to expect as far as prosecution, and also have a restraining order against the person who has actually assaulted you as well. Yeah. So I think the number one thing is actually first step is report the violence when it occurs.
In fact, I had representatives from the victims of domestic violence associations, who have provided services to these both men and women who have been victims of violence in terms of shelter and providing them safety and all these things. I think that's a very good point for them to do report, because a lot of times, it may be too late before they can take any action.
I think you really need to take that very seriously. And we do take domestic violence seriously. Yeah. And it could be a father, son, daughter, mother. Right. It could be significant others, people in dating relationships. But anytime you are assaulted, I think you need to take that seriously and then call 911 if it's an emergency situation.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Triple N Media Talk Show. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and we are talking about the police department of Sugarland, which is our hometown. And Chief Doug Brinkley is my special guest. Okay. The other thing I wanted to find out was how much can the police or the law enforcement use the information on the social media?
Well, everything is not accessible on social media. If you look at some of the debate about privacy right now, some of the social media apps like Snapchat, some of the things on Facebook right now are encrypted. A lot of Apple devices are encrypted. And so you saw in some of the news where we have to have a search warrant. But even when you get a search warrant, some of the information is not available because of the encryption that they have on different devices. So it doesn't mean that the police department or law enforcement will always have access to that information. There's some social media pages that are not, they're open to the public. Those we can obtain information from them. If it's not, then we would have to obtain a search warrant through the court to obtain the information.
I see. Yeah. That's fascinating. Any final thoughts?
I think nowadays when we're talking about trust between law enforcement and the community, one of the things that we try to espouse is to make sure that we get out. This program, Dr. Nikam, right now is a great opportunity for me as police chief. Try to reach out to the public, try to talk about some of the programs that are available through the police department. And I think the more time or more often we can do things like this and make ourselves accessible and make sure we interact with the community, I think it'll improve and restore the relationship of trust between law enforcement and the community. I think we are fortunate. I tell our men and women in the department that we're fortunate to be in Fort Bend County because we do enjoy a very good relationship with the community. But I think it is incumbent upon us to maintain that we work hard to maintain that relationship.
You know, you said we need to do this more often, and I was wondering, you know, I had talked about this before we started. Is there a possibility that we can work with the city and maybe have like a town hall meeting between the police department and the public?
That could happen. I may have put you in contact with our public information officer, and maybe we can work something out. Or either one of the upcoming town halls that they're having.
That's right.
Maybe you could be president at one of those.
That's right. So we can just open up the microphones and have people, you know, raise their questions like I have done today.
It could be. I believe we'll have opportunity to do that in the future.
Yeah. Chief Brinkley, it's been a pleasure talking to you in a more friendly
always
environment. And ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching a Triple N Media, and we have been talking about the Department of Police here in the Sugar Land area, and my special guest has been Doug Brinkley, and we talked about building bridges between the police and the public. I hope you like this program. If you have any comments, you can leave your comments below or there, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you very much.